Hey, I'm Wing Nation Steve Post. You know, we are proud to be part of the Drydene family. Now, we're not the first family of Drydene Racing. That would be the Allens, Bobby and Logan and Jacob. And over the course of time, we have had a blast getting to know the Allen family, the first family of Drydene Racing. Earlier this year on our television program, we had a great visit with Scruffy Bobby Allen. Joining us from up in the great state of Pennsylvania, team owner of Shark Racing and that Drydene team that we all love so much, Bobby Allen joins us. Hello, Bobby. Welcome in to Wing Nation.
Well, hello. Thank you.
Bobby, as we near the end of this season, kind of give us an assessment of how things have gone for Shark Racing this year for your boys.
Well, I always look at the good side. I think it really went well, more than maybe some of our results. Logan did a great job. We did a great job, actually, with Jacob too, learning new racetracks and things we wasn't good at. We were way better in California and Skagit at the end of the year. Some of the short tracks, we kind of fumbled around a little bit on the big track. Logan was exceptionally good. But anyway, we figured out a few more things to get to there. And this year they got a little bit crossed up on setups, and also our motor program was good, but yet we learned a lot more there because I could never run the motors at the right time I felt to run the motors we had. And when they came back to Pennsylvania, they've been suffering at Williams Club a little bit. Well, definitely Logan was right there to win both races. Port Royal, Logan was right there to win, and it looked like he was going to win, but you don't win until you win, you get your money. That lap car, they didn't throw the yellow in time, he got crashed there. Jacob looked like he had a good second at the end of the race. He moved his wing back, and he couldn't get his wing back the other way, and he was pushing. So he was really happy. So we're happy with the end-year results looking into next year, yes.
Bobby, we've kind of watched you do this whole World of Outlaw tours these last 7 years, and we talked to Logan about this a few weeks ago. 7 years ago, you guys were piecing things together to try to make things work, and now you're a team that is at the front every single weekend. Did you expect everything to kind of come full circle this quickly, and are you pleased with the direction that you guys are headed in?
Well, I'm definitely pleased about it, and actually I thought we'd have it sooner than this. But we still are pleased. We were hit and miss in the beginning, and it does take, what I figure, a good 5 years. In one way, they're lucky. I'm a guy that's been on the road, raced before, and done this my whole life. But it takes, you're not going to have a new team all the way come together and do it this fast. No. But that's why you get a new driver goes with a team like the 41 car or Casey Kane's team, that they already know what to do at the racetracks, and then the driver can adapt faster. And he's already been a trained driver that goes good somewhere else. And no, I'm really pleased with where we've gone, what the boys have done. Because the very first day, I've been teaching them how to do this without me. And now I think they're pretty well getting closer and closer to that, because when I try to tell them something, they don't want to listen.
Well, is that because they know what to do, or is that because they're just kids these days?
Well, part of it's because they're kids, but they are starting to know what they're doing. I mean, Definitely I try to put them in a direction to go, and they don't want to admit it that week, but a couple of weeks later they run that kind of direction and they seem to be better. So they're closing in. They're getting where they won't need me, but they're doing a good job.
Bobby, you talked about being on the road. You've done it all your life, but there was a hiatus there that you've had, until the boys started racing again. What has it been like being back on the road, traveling with the team, and being such an ample part of it? Because you do know what it's like to be on the road and what it takes to make the entire season happen.
Well, there's all kind of people. I'm one of them kind of people that like being on the road, like being racing, going to different places. I call myself an addicted race car gambler because we get sponsors some money. We charge. I charge everybody. They all like me, so they let me charge to the hilt with everything. And then I hope I can pay it back by the end of the year. And with their running, and then be able to do it.
There you go. There you go. Bobby, one of the things you've talked about, you just talked a little bit to us about a 5-year vision, and you've talked also in the past about, having to know what's going on a couple years down the road. As we sit here in 2021, obviously World Finals and some other races are coming up, but what do you think we need to look at as we look at 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road with where the World of Outlaws and what racing is going on with sprint cars?
Well, that's what I do. I'm pretty good about looking definitely 2 years, and then you try to look further. You like to see where it's going. Do I got to get ready for this? Do I got to get ready for a change going on? I hope it's not electric motors yet, but where are we going? Just like right now, by looking ahead and getting the stuff we got. Right now, they're in a little dilemma with all these parts. So I'm lucky I did look ahead because we got stuff now to even start the year with if we're short on money or whatever. So, but 5 years from now, I look at sprint car racing unless this COVID thing gets out of the way, and with the dirt vision and the things they got going on now, I see it getting nothing but better. And people always said to me, "Boy, racing was good back in your day, wasn't it?" I said it was good, but it ain't nothing like it is now. Then when they're running them races, the top 5 guys, they're on kill. The next 5 guys are on kill where they're running. These guys run hard and tough. Nobody ever raced this hard.
It's so true. And you raced in an era with Kinzers and the Paul Pitzers and just those strong guys. And now we talk about how deep the World of Outlaws chart is and how hard it is to win a race with the World of Outlaws. And Logan being in the top 3 in points the last 3 years. How much do you still wish that you, as the driver that we know as Scruffy Allen, how much do you wish you could be back out on that track with those boys?
Well, I mean, I probably would like that, but I am where I am. I can't change my age, so I am what I am. So I'm glad I can do it through them.
I wanted to pick your brain just a little bit on another topic. You follow some other forms of motorsports. You of course grew up in karting, and you aspire to be IndyCar racing. I want to talk about Kyle Larson. Okay, as a guy that watches some NASCAR, as a guy that competes with them in sprint cars, how good is Kyle Larson?
Well, I've raced a long time, a lot of racers. Kyle Larson don't even know how good he is. He's one of the best guys I've ever seen run a race car, adapt to every race car there is. And in today's world, everybody has good stuff. The NASCAR guys got good stuff, the modified. I know he gets in a good car, the sprint car. Yes, he's definitely almost a superhuman, and he don't realize he's got. Sweet said it the best. When they ran them midget wing carts, Larson could see way ahead. His vision makes everything slow motion to him when he races. And it has to be something like that. Just like you're talking about me, my vision is I can see ahead on where I'm going, where to be to keep going. Well, and other people's got a better vision on when they want to do a business or whatever they do, or make a drawing. Well, Larson's one of them that's got a vision that when he runs, he thinks everybody should be doing what he's doing, don't understand why he can't. So I think it's way better. In fact, I was going to tell him when I see him, when he started running NASCAR, I'd watch NASCAR again because it'd be fun to see him get up there and beat these guys. Well, now through the luck of the stuff and the draw, he's got a team that is right there to win. He was good before, but now he's really excelling. So I'm going to actually tell him, I said, you know what? I'm kind of starting to get bored of watching NASCAR because he wins every race.
It's so true. And you're right. He doesn't realize what he's doing at the moment. And I kind of want to go back to a time we chatted once before, Bobby, talking about the IndyCar stuff. You said that back then you wish you would have realized more what the sprint car world was doing for you, but you were so laser focused on making it to IndyCar. Now that you're back on the road and getting to share the stories with people that come up and know the old Scruffy, has it kind of rekindled a fire in you to be able to relive those stories that maybe you kind of missed out on in the moment?
Well, I don't try to look at the past. I did say this too. I was lucky. I wanted to be a race driver. Naturally, you want to go to the biggest and best, but I was lucky to be able to live my life and do it the way I wanted to do it, and that was racing. So I never made it to Indy, but I love what I do. I mean, I love what I do, and I'm loved that I can do it through the kids and whatever there.
Bobby, your story fascinates me because it ties in a little bit with another neat era of racing. I think one of the neatest parts of racing across America was when the Alabama gang, Bobby and Donnie Ellison and Red Farmer and those guys, I could not imagine what it was like to be at a racetrack and see those guys come down pit road. You actually spent time with the Ellisons, and you both were Florida. They went to Birmingham. You went to Pennsylvania. Was there ever consideration of you to go to Alabama or to do something else, or were you just destined to go to Pennsylvania?
Well, they were a few years ahead of me, but they would go to Alabama to run their modifieds, run stock cars, and go run NASCAR. My goal was a time, because I grew up with Jim Rathman, to go to Indianapolis. I'm probably glad I didn't, because I look at all them pictures and I look back at the guys who were like heroes back then, Herder Beast, Pernelli Jones, Boyd, all them guys, and their heads stuck 2 foot out of the cages. you were lucky you didn't get killed right then. So I'm lucky to live what I do and what I've got done.
There's no doubt about it. It's so true. Bobby, being in Florida, what made you come to Pennsylvania? What made you kind of land there and really get into the sprint car scene?
Well, Jim Rathman had a shop down there, and my dad was a racer around Bill France and stuff, and they bought these things called half midgets, and we'd race them, and Jim Rathman was the one that sold and ran them. So I, through him and looking at Indy cars, the stuff, that made me want to do it. And at that time, you had to be 21 years old. That was a step. Midget sprint cars, that was a stepping goal to go to the Indianapolis car. But you had to be 21. Well, I wasn't 21 yet then, and since the first year I got to be 21, I went and ran 4 months. Well, it rained out about every week. They only ran once a week. I could hardly make a living because I was already making a living racing the cars in Pennsylvania. And I didn't like being told what I could do and couldn't do. So then I just went back to running sprint cars and doing it. At that time, you had to, USAC was the deal and the whole thing. So I went back to running my sprint cars around there and making a living at it and doing it.
Bobby, this year when we rolled into Knoxville, you guys rolled out some throwback paint schemes. It's just beautiful looking cars. What was that like for you, not only maybe in the design and development, but see those cars on the racetrack?
Well, it was nice. I actually think it meant more to the boys. They felt like, they were, it made them feel like maybe they were part of me, part of that way there. Me, I'm kind of one that ain't the best on that stuff. My deal was, naturally, as you know it, when we first built a car, we painted it all up, and I'd actually win the car show. But once we got running, then whatever it was, I'd buy pistons or cranks or whatever. I didn't care about it because I didn't have big sponsors. What I thought was pretty is when the car was passing everybody going down the straightaway. You could sit there with all the chrome on. If it wasn't winning the races, the heck with it. But now today, to keep everybody happy, you got to have it all shined up and really looking good. But no, they did a good job with the cars. That's how they looked back then. So made a lot of people from that era happy, I can tell you that.
It's true. It was definitely cool to see that car run out. And then, of course, the helmet, the suits, everything that they put together. It was awesome to see it at Knoxville. Bobby, looking ahead, you talked about a 2-year plan with motors and all that. What do you want from these boys? What do you want their legacy to kind of live? You want a championship in the next 2 years? What do you see for Shark Racing?
Well, definitely for Shark Racing. Naturally, I want them to win more races. I do see a championship. I mean, naturally, so does the other teams, but and it will be that way. But I'm actually working hard for us to get ready now for next year. That I see that maybe we got a big possibility of a championship, the best all I've ever had, as long as we got the money behind us to do what I need to do. I actually figure it's going to be an awesome year. So does the other teams, but we'll find out at the end of the year.
So while Bobby Ellen is a Hall of Famer, his grandson, Logan Schuchart, has done amazing things. As a matter of fact, late this year, Logan tied his grandfather, Bobby, on the win tally total for the World of Outlaws with 30 wins. We had a chance earlier this year to catch up with Logan Schuchart.
I know that World of Outlaw drivers and teams are used to the gypsy lifestyle, but it has got to be nice to get back to Pennsylvania and have a little bit of time staying in Pennsylvania with racing there over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely. We got a big race coming up this weekend, the Williams Grove National Open. It's always great to be here for that. Lots of friends and family, but then one of our bigger races of the year. So a lot of nostalgia to that race, but it's just nice to be here. After Knoxville, after the Nationals, we start traveling a lot. We hang out in the Dakotas for a few weeks, but after that, it's a lot of driving and a lot of racing, and then all of a sudden it slows way down. So we just got back from California. Like I said, drove 2,800 miles in the last week to get here back to Shark Racing, and it's nice to be here, be home, see family, and just hang out in the nice weather. It's beautiful here.
Logan, these next few weeks, is there more pressure on your plate because you are from Pennsylvania and you want to do well here? Or does it not really matter anymore because you've been on this circuit for 7 years now? Is there pressure that you put on yourself each and every week, or does these next few weeks hold a little bit more than any other typical race would?
I feel like they're, now at this point in my career, just the way just being on the road for a little while, I feel like they all feel the same. I know it's a bigger race, but I go out and I try to win every one of them. They all mean a lot to me. Every World of Outlaw win that you can, are able to accomplish, they're hard. So, I'm waiting to get one of those, crown jewels We're fortunate enough to win the Jackson Nationals early in the year, which was the biggest win of my career. But the Williams Grove National Open's up there. I always thought of that as right behind the Knoxville Nationals and the Kingsborough. That was third on the list. So I'd like to add that to my resume and keep working towards that. And we have a great opportunity this week to make that happen.
Logan, I think one of the reasons you've got to feel you have a great opportunity is the performance of the team. When you look at the season, there's 6 wins. There was one in February, one in May, and then the Jackson Nationals. But the final 3 wins have all been here or in the month of September. You've got to feel like your car right now. It sounds like you guys are hitting on all 8 cylinders.
Yeah, all 8, maybe 6 sometimes. We won Eldora on Friday. We had a rocker shaft break. And about 10 laps in, there's a restart with Donnie, and I was running second to him. I was trying to feel like how I could set him up to kind of run in the corner and get a big run on him, and ran right through the hole of 3 and 4, and it lost 2 cylinders. And I kept looking at the oil pressure gauge, and it looked good, and I thought, it sounds horrible, but I'm just going to keep running it, especially when we're in a position to win. And, Eldora always gets so slick. It's almost, maybe it could help you to lose a few cylinders. So, and it did. I talked to David Gravel and James McFadden and Victor Lane, and they were telling me how they couldn't keep the tires under them. That every time they tried to get on the gas, it seemed like the tires would just spin. And I was foot to the floor and never lifted. So maybe it helped me in a way. But this Shark Racing team has done a great job. I just have to thank Drydene Performance Product for all they've done the last few years. Really up this race team and brought them to the next level. They're filled with great people. They have a great passion for the sport, great product, and Shark Racing's just very excited to keep growing with them. So they've really helped our race team. In a year that we've struggled at times, we had a tough summer where I felt all this year we were very fast. I felt like we could have these wins that we've had in the last few weeks could have happened in the summertime. Some second, third place finishes, in July I think we fell out running the top 3 5 or 6 times. So those could have been wins, and it's just rebounding. Our guys working hard and really not giving up and just trying to keep their confidence up, and they do. So they want to win as much as I do. They got a high level of passion, and we're fortunate the last few weeks to pop off a few wins. So like I said, I'm hoping to get a few more before.
Logan, it's awesome that you mentioned that, because I think back, we've kind of followed you on this World of Outlaw journey these last 7 years. And I remember the stories you used to tell at the beginning. The trailer broke down and things were going wrong, and you guys were really on a shoestring budget. Drydene comes along 7 years later. Here you guys are. But you talk about that motor, and it was down 2 cylinders. How much do you pay attention to that kind of stuff and making the right decision and not trying to put your team in a bad position by losing a motor or things like that, so you can continue to see that success?
Yeah, earlier in my career, I probably would have definitely pulled in, especially, if, it would have been tough racing for a win like that. I think even earlier in my career, I would have maybe pushed the issue. But also to have enough experience that I kind of know by how the engine felt, to know what was wrong, whether it was something catastrophic or if, something that's not going to, hurt the engine too bad, that, even though I ran 20 laps with it broken like that, we could send it back this week, and it's pretty much a simple fix. It didn't really hurt too much. So fortunate of that, but, as a young driver, you don't, especially on the budget that we've always been on. And like I said, Dryden has helped us a ton, but something that you never want to do, no matter what position you're in, no matter how, how much help we have, how many cars are sitting in this garage in the wintertime. I don't feel like my driving style is going to change a whole lot. I'm never going to be the one that's, going to tear up a whole lot of stuff. It's just not how I was taught. And it goes back to, the fundamentals of how I started and, how I was taught to race.
No doubt, and you were taught by one of the best, your grandfather, Bobby Allen. Logan, hang in there with us. Everyone stick around. More with Logan Schuchart in just a moment.
Pride. Passion.
Performance.
We are.
We are We are Team Drydene.
Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. We are joined on the Hercules Tire Hotline by Logan Schuchart. That Drydene, number 1S from Shark Racing. And Logan, we talked in our first segment a lot about on the racetrack. I want to talk a little bit about off the racetrack. And I absolutely love your dog, the Bulldog, Bubba. And did I see this right? Bubba has his own hero cards now?
He does. My girlfriend Summer did a really cool thing, and her and if you know Wes from the World of Outlaws, Wes Irwin, he has a Living Like Outlaws page, so make sure you check that out. But he donated to it, helped her get some cards, got a little ink pad so he can, what they call polygraph them, and for when fans come by. But I believe that she charges $3 for them, and she used a little bit to get some more cards, and then the extra all goes, she donates to SPCA. So a cool little thing she has going on for sure.
Well, Bubba isn't little by any means. You definitely nicknamed him correctly. He's a big boy when he walks through the infield there. But Logan, you talk about summer. You guys are on the road all the time. You guys are finally back home. As someone who works with their husband all the time, is when Summer gets home, is she like, all right, bye, Logan, I love you, see you later, I got friends and family I haven't seen in 6 months, or she's still right there beside you digging all week?
She is. You know, we got back at 4 o'clock yesterday. We had all our family members over that we could think of. You know, it seems like you get back, everybody's, hey, wants to see you, which is awesome. You always want to get back and see everybody. But we just had them all over at our house, got to say hi for a little bit. And like you can see, I'm back at the race shop today. She's in the T-shirt trailer helping my mom, so we're both back at it.
Back at it, back digging, that's for sure. Okay. So now I kind of snooped around a little bit on Instagram and social media, and I see that Summer is a pampered chef consultant, and some of the food that she has looks spectacular. How does that work on the road? Are you indulging on the road? Do you focus on healthier eating? How does that work? And having someone that's really passionately into cooking, that's got to be a real perk being on the road.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. You know, Summer, she enjoys cooking. If it was up to me, I'd try to eat healthy, but I'm a fast food kind of guy. Not really, but I guess I'd be trying to get Panera Bread or something, get some salads. But I'm not. I don't know a whole lot. I can make some eggs and stuff, but she's pretty good at it and she enjoys it. So she makes some healthier meals and try to stay healthy, try and stay running, do all that kind of stuff. I got to keep up with you. I see you running all the time. You get me. See those posts, I'm like, man, you make me feel lazy. I better go out for a run.
I bet you could. Yeah, I bet you could handle that. That's for sure. I'd be running behind you, I'm sure, Ashley.
Logan, so now that you guys are home, you've got a few weeks here. Is there something that you guys do while you're home? Is there a place that you guys got to get to? Like, what's the perfect date night now that you're not on the road living out of a motorhome?
We have a favorite spot if you are in town, go to Lincoln Speedway or Williams Grove. C&D Bar and Grill up the road. Actually, Summer used to work there. It's a nice little place, and it seems like a lot of family like to go there, but that's one of Summer and I's spot. We had our first date at a place down the road called Fratelli. It's a really cool Italian restaurant, and so that's one we like to go to also. That
is really, really neat. That is for sure. You talk a little bit, and we kicked around about the running, the fitness on the road. How does that work? Is it simply running, or do you find gyms? How do you balance that road lifestyle with trying to maintain your fitness?
I keep a few things under the bus, but to mess around with, but don't really lift too many weights. I've always been kind of a stalkier little guy. It doesn't take much for me if I did lift weights to kind of get bulky, but I also get fat quick too. So I got to keep running, and that's what I like doing. I like to run. You don't have to think about it a whole lot. You just take off. But in the wintertime, I do some kickboxing. I probably actually go to that gym here tonight. There's a cool guy in town. It's called Hanover Boxing, and do some of that stuff for something different. But on the road, I like to jump rope, just anything to get the heart rate up and something I feel like it's going to help me as far as racing.
All right, something that's really cool that you guys did at Knoxville that you're bringing back here to Pennsylvania. That incredible, awesome throwback to Scruffy and that car. talk about what that's like for you, knowing, that was your grandpa's legacy and you being able to run that and kind of the tradition that team holds.
Yeah, I've watched that car go around the track a lot in videos, and I watched it, the video of him winning Knoxville so many times, just even this year before the Nationals, knowing how special it was. And it's just really cool that I'm able to have him there with me, still. And, we've been on the road for so long. He's taught me so much as far as, lessons that you could teach as a grandfather, and then also, the racing, as far as racing goes, and just his attitude about life and how he goes about things, and just his no quit attitude and how he's always been. So, and Jake and I are still able to have him at the racetrack to kind of bounce ideas off, talk about things. And, he's at his age, he's, highly involved. He's not just the owner of the team, but he's, 100 mile an hour every day, talking about racing, talking to other crew chiefs, trying to learn some things, and talk about our cars, and just, he never stopped. So really cool that that's his attitude. I'm able to work with him every day, and to drive a car that represents him, that he had a lot of success in, and just, like I said, bring that nostalgia back to the track, and able to race it again. So I was hoping to do a little better there in August, and but it's still a good finish. But maybe we can put the thing in victory lane here in ahead.
The other racing member of the Allen family is Jacob Allen. That is Bobby's son. And Jacob has worked so hard at the craft of sprint car racing. Those efforts were rewarded last year at Dodge City Raceway Park, where he scored his first career World of Outlaw win. And we were able to catch up with Jacob right after that victory.
We are going to the Drydene hotline, and I know the folks at Drydene were happy because, well, they're part of the sprint car world, and the entire sprint car world sighed a huge sigh of relief Friday night from the Boot Hill Showdown when this guy scored his career first World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink sprint car win. Jacob Allen joins us. Hello, Jacob. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going good. Jacob, what has life been like since about 9, whenever you cross that finish line on Friday night out in Kansas? What has life been like since then?
Pretty refreshing, really. Just, I just spent a lot of time thinking about getting that first Outlaw win. It seemed like the closer I got, the more I thought about it, and, now I don't have to think about it. So it's like, just kind of like a fresh slate for myself, and just still kind of like taking it all in. It's been pretty awesome.
Jacob, how much, you kind of hit on it, but how much of a weight do you feel lifted off your shoulders to get that win? You've been so close for so long. And like moving forward, I don't know, does it feel somewhat surreal? I won an Outlaw race once. That's my claim to fame. And it almost felt surreal for a long time.
Yeah. Like I said, I've just spent so much time thinking about it. And when we first got on the Outlaw Tour, it was like, you start racing with them, and you have at least for myself, I'm just speaking for myself. You have really no skills, or, you're just learning, everything, and you want to win an Outlaw race. But the reality of it happening, it seems pretty far out until you can, start learning the skills and the things that's going to take to win. And then I felt like I was adding those things up. This year, I felt like I had so many of the pieces to win a race and then get close, on top of years past of being close and hearing about winning my first Outlaw race. It was just so much has gone into that time of getting to that point, and then finally accomplishing it. It's just wow, it really did happen, and I don't have to dedicate so much of my thought process of just winning my first Outlaw race. Now I can kind of just take that for what it, accomplishing that, and then moving forward to knowing my skill set now and what it's taken to get to this point, and then go race for, win, a second win, and so on.
It's just that makes so much sense. That really does. And it's such a wise approach to it. I do want to go back to Friday night, Jacob. We know we've all lived through you've been through some close calls The last few laps of that race, what were the last few laps of that race? What was that like?
Well, I would say we did have a caution at the halfway point. It was a 30-lap race. And, the week before or whenever we ran I-80, I was leading that race, and it was like getting to the halfway. And, at halfway you start feeling like, or at least for myself at that time, I was thinking, it's getting closer to, possibly getting this win. And I just kind of like wanted to block that out when I thought that on Friday night. Like I did think like, all right, like you've got the first 15, like now you got to do the second 15. And I was like, I don't want to think about that. I want to think more about hitting my marks and like focusing on the race itself and the racetrack itself by driving the track right and then hitting lap traffic right, because like I just didn't want to have my mind off 100% focus on the task that was in front of me. So then it did, we ran the race, and it got to be, I did look up and it was like 3 to go. And I did have a little bit of a flashback of Stockton kind of thing. I was like, well, I was in this point last year and I broke down. So like, yeah, 3 to go is like a short amount of time, but things can happen pretty fast as well. So that went through my mind. And then when I took the white and I got down the backstretch, I was like, oh, holy shit, like this is about to happen for me. And like, I was just so pumped. And when I got the checkered, I could just feel so refreshed. Like it was all that time and all that thought just finally, it happened for me. So I was just super stoked, and just like, all I could think to do was like yell and just be pumped.
Yeah, for sure. And I think everyone in the sprint car community was doing the same thing for you. Jacob, every time that Steve and I, and Ashley and I, or whoever had talked to you throughout the years, whether it be at the track or on one of the shows, you've always maintained such a positive attitude. In all honesty, now looking back, how hard has it been to keep that confidence and know that you were going to get that win like you did on Friday night? It had to be harder than sometimes you maybe let on.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to always think about, being positive towards like, everybody, I don't want to sit there and like talk about things that like, I don't mind talking about anything with anybody really. I mean, it doesn't bother me to speak my mind or speak how I'm feeling by any means to anybody. It doesn't bother me. But I didn't want to be like, oh, like if somebody comes up and they talk about getting that win or what's going on, and I didn't want to be like, well, it's really been bothering me. It's really been on my mind. And they have to like think, well, I don't know. I just didn't want like that kind of vibe, I guess. I just want, people to, believe that I am like happy. Like I am happy. I'm genuinely happy. I was happy even though it didn't happen. And there's times I ran second, but like ultimately I won the win more than anything in the world. That's what I try to do each time I go and race. And yeah, it would definitely eat at me a lot, but I felt like, a person that's always helped me become more of a positive person has always been like my dad. Like if I ever complained about things or started having a bad attitude, he would always like shut me down. And I think that's made me stronger as a person to like fight through times where he would always say like, oh, you're starting to feel sorry for yourself, or like, oh, like a bad attitude's not going to like take you anywhere. So when I felt like I was creating my own negativity or kind of feeling sorry for myself, I just try to turn around and look at the positive and like what I could do to make those negative feelings become positive feelings. And I just kind of live like through that, really.
That's a life lesson there.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with sprint car racing. I mean, it has everything to do with you, Jacob, and sprint car racing, but you can apply that principle to every aspect of life, and you're better off for it. So kudos to you. Kudos to your dad. And that's my final question for you here is, what did Your dad was probably more worried about the second night at the racetrack than worried about celebrating that with you. But that had to be a neat moment for him and you to celebrate that win on Friday night.
Yeah, so, that was always a big thing for me as well, not just to win, my first outlaw race, but, like, just to share that moment with my dad in Victory Lane. I've always, I've got to go to Victory Lane with my dad before, but I've always wanted to be, in the World of Outlaw Victory Lane with my dad and then, be in the history books with my dad as a winner. So I was super pumped. When they, had us taking pictures down there in Victory Lane, I was like, I have to get a picture with my dad. I've always thought about this moment and I have to have it. So yeah, super stoked. I mean, my dad's not one to yell or, jump up and down, give me the biggest hug and lift me up in the air. I don't even know if he could do that, but but I just know how pumped he is. He'll kind of if I'm walking by the trailer and he's sitting on his phone, text message, he'll look up and kind of pull me aside and just be real pumped up. He'll start talking 100 mile an hour. He shows his emotions in different ways rather than wow, you drove such a great race or this and that. He just starts talking 100 mile an hour and just rambling off all kinds of stuff. So that's when I realized all right, Dad's pretty pumped and he's pretty proud right now. So yeah, just a great feeling. I mean, I just feel so amazing to share that with my dad and Logan and just to finally accomplish that. You guys could have had me on a week ago and been Jake, you're so close to winning that first outlaw race. And I don't ever have to hear that again. And I can just move forward and just race and do my thing. And like I said, I've learned so much more about racing and driving since I started. So to get a second outlaw win should not be the same kind of struggle. It should be much easier, I hope. But yeah, I have so much more of a skill set. I have so much of a better understanding of the job that I'm doing on the racetrack. And I just can't wait to see, how things can play out from here on out.
I can't wait either. It is going to be awesome. It really, truly is. And the smile of your dad as he looked over your shoulder while you were doing the interview on Dirt Vision said it all.
Yep.
You could tell he's not gonna say many words about it, but you could read it in his eyes and his smile. Jacob, congratulations. Oh, by the way, you hate answering that question about when we're going to get the first one. We hate asking it too. So we'll never ask you that again. How about that? Is that a deal? We'll never ask you that again.
That sounds awesome. I didn't mind it being asked by any means, but damn, I'm so glad I don't have to answer it ever again.
Yeah, and we're glad we don't have to ask it. Congratulations and best of luck throughout the balance of the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Pride.
Passion. Performance. We are Team Drydene.
Now, the Drydene family is led by Dave Klinger. He is the president of Drydene, and what an uplifting, great guy he is. Great to hang out with at the racetrack and talk to, and just a wonderful, wonderful person. So earlier this year at the World Finals, we had the chance with our live stage show to catch up with Dave. He was joined by Logan, and they were joined by Aaron Evernham and Ashley Stremme. This was our pre-race show for the World Finals.
Drydene is incredible. We're so thankful for what they do for our sport. There's no doubt about it. Great partners of ours, and great partners of Logan Schuchart over there in the one car, and then of course the man behind it all, Dave Klinger. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Well, let's start off with this because I think it's the coolest thing this weekend is that one car hanging up across the street over there. That's pretty bad to the bone.
Yeah, so, let alone with all the help from support from Drydene, one of our sponsors, NGK Spark Plugs, sponsoring the event this weekend. So that's why that car is hanging out over there and looks like a toy car hanging up over there. It looks kind of weird, but it's cool.
Dave, we haven't had the chance to talk to you, I guess, through pandemic and us not doing too many live shows, but it's great to see you again. Thank you for all your support. Talk about your perspective of watching what Logan and Jacob and really what they've done this season and all the success they've had.
Yeah, it's been a great ride. I know that Logan and I just talked a lot in the last few weeks, and he's been tearing it up big time lately. The last couple months here, but he's had a really great season, even in races that he didn't end up finishing because of some car issues. But when he was on the track, I could only imagine where he'd be at right now if we didn't have some of those unfortunate situations at the beginning. But the whole Shark Racing team, Bobby and Jacob and Logan and the whole crew and the family, it's just fantastic for the brand, for Drydene. It's what we wanted from the very beginning. It's been a great 3 years, and I look forward to this weekend. I look forward to these guys being in the podium and hopefully winning.
No doubt about it. You talk about family. Logan, obviously this most recent win ties you with your grandfather on the win list at 30 wins. What does that mean to you, knowing how enthralled Shark Racing is into sprint car racing?
Yeah, it's pretty wild to me to think that I can tie somebody like my grandfather. He was a mentor, a hero of mine growing up, and lucky and fortunate enough to still race with him. Owning the race team, bouncing ideas off of him every night, and to me, he'll always be the best in my mind. So to put my hear that stat still sounds really weird to me, and it will for a while. But just fortunate to race with my grandfather, have him by my side, and say that we won those races together.
Absolutely. Dave, Drydene has now been sponsoring Shark Racing for years. You've been really heavy in motorsports the last few years. Talk about what you've gotten back from all of that all these partnerships in racing. Obviously, it's going well because we're seeing you more and more places, and us on Wing Nation appreciate your support for us as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been definitely noticed a lot around the country. We get a lot of inquiries from race fans that come out of the races, whether it be at the sprint level or late model. Even last week, we were the title sponsor for the World Short Track. And, I said years back, it was all about the fans, the grassroots of this sport. And I truly believe that the folks that are big race fans here in this race series, dirt track, really are tried and true Americans. And, Drydene has got that heritage, American-owned company. And it got us noticed enough that we recently did a big deal with a national company called Relodyne. We merged together. They're based out of Cincinnati, and we now are national. So we've been working really hard for the last couple of years to really bring on distributors, because it's a little frustrating that when people come up to me from Oklahoma and they say, hey, I have a trucking account, I want to buy your product, where can I get it? We're working on finding a distributor there. Now with doing this deal, within the next 6+ months, anybody that's interested in buying the product on a B2B basis, excuse me, not retail, but if you have a trucking account, excavating firm, construction, it will be available from Relodyne, and from 90 locations and about 30 associates they have. So just being doing this and being recognized that this would happen is just absolutely fantastic.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is absolutely congratulations. Bless them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Logan, obviously, when you see Drydene, like you said, you were here last weekend with the World Short Track Championships. You're on sprint cars. You're on late models. You're all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's solely in dirt racing, which is what I love, because you could be in F1, you could be wherever, and you choose dirt racing because I think our fans speak for themselves. They're the number one supporter of brands in the industry.
Absolutely.
And Logan, what's it like for you working with Dave? Because he's always the hype man. He's always bringing the energy. He's always bringing, always. I mean, to know that you're the number one guy out of all these guys. You're the lead on this.
Oh, it's awesome. The whole Drydene team. Dave Klinger, since, like you said, since I met them, actually down here in Charlotte in 2018. Made me feel like I was ready to come out at halftime of football game, just pump me up, like you said. But Al Johnson, Gene Nace, all the Drydene employees, we've had, especially the last few weeks, At some of our home tracks, we have a lot of employees come out, partners of Drydene show up to the races, and it's been awesome to have them there, and been a part of Drydene for the last 3 years.
Logan, we talked about your 30 wins with the World of Outlaws, and we've talked to you since the beginning of Shark Racing coming on the World of Outlaws, and your team by far is certainly the most improved and just come leaps and bounds. When you look back at that, how cool is it to see how much your team has grown in really every aspect, not just in wins, but in, I mean, look at your equipment and everything, and sponsorships, partnerships. How cool is that for you to see?
It's awesome, no doubt. We wouldn't be on this level without our partners of Drydene and C&D Rigging, NGK Spark Plugs, everybody that helps us get to this level. Our guys, Ron Helmick, Ben Whitman, Tyler Garber, Jack Eckert, Brendan Collum, that work their butts off. Bill, everything he does behind the scenes and gets his team where it needs to be, and it's definitely take leaps and bounds of where it was just in a few years, and a little bit of a letdown from what we had last year. We expected or wanted to be a little bit better this year, but the summertime was a little tough on us, but we've come on strong here at the end of the year. I think we've had 2 races outside of the top 5 in since from September 1. So it's been really well. We've been in the on the podium, second place finishes, and knocked out 4 or 5 wins here at the end of the year. So hope we can end the weekend strong in 2021.
Dave, I kind of want to piggyback off of that because, like Aaron said, we've watched Shark Racing from the very beginning when trailers were breaking down and the craziness that they dealt with to make sure they could make it to the next track. It's definitely that feel-good story. And then you guys come along and bring their program up to the next notch and the next level, and then Logan's doing what he's doing. How does it feel to be a part of that? Because I know it's such a family when it boils right down to it.
Oh, it's just an absolutely amazing feeling inside, knowing again where we started, having announcements outside the track here a few years back when this all started, and I just remember when we did the deal at our corporate headquarters and announced initially the first half year it was just Logan, then we went to Shark Racing with Jacob as well, and I got into this because of being a big fan of Bobby Allen, going to all the dirt track races with my grandfather when I was growing up. I mean, every weekend it was a different track in Pennsylvania. And when I heard Logan and then Jacob with Bobby, Shark Racing, I'm like, Bobby Allen, this is a dream. This is a dream. And Bobby's just such a special guy. He's so humble, and he's funny, and he's so serious. I expecting this guy to slow down at some point. But, nope. When you get in front of him and he starts talking, and he realized just how passionate he is in his own way of really making it great for his team. And, him and I talk, and he gets emotional because he knows where the team was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And it's not just Drydene, it's all the sponsors that, Logan has mentioned, and it's really the fan support that it really helped support this. And to see where they've come is just, it's indescribable. I feel so good about it.
It's absolutely awesome. Dave, we appreciate what you do for us, what you do for the sport. It's incredible what you've done and how big it's gotten. It's absolutely insane, and we're so thankful to be a part of that. And Logan, we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for joining us, and maybe we can back up last year. I believe you were in victory lane for the last call here.
We were. I hope so. I hope to do it again.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Maybe.
Come on. Can we get one here?
Maybe.
We need
We're winning. We're winning, baby.
There it is.
I love it.
Pride.
Passion.
Performance.
We are Team Drydene.
The Drydene family, the Allen family, all part of the great story of sprint car racing, and we have had a ball over the last couple of years telling that story here on Wing Nation.